Hello, sixth grade parents, guardians, and perhaps students. This is Ms. Van Pelt from Freedom Classical Academy. I teach sixth grade humanities. This means I control your English and history classes and assignments for your sixth grade student. And after parent-teacher conferences, it was lovely to get to meet so many of you and to get to chat about your students' successes, maybe some of their challenges, and their future successes to really make sure that they have a very successful second semester in their first year of junior high. I noticed many parents still had many questions about how do I see my students' grades? Where do I look? What does this look like? I love questions. And if you have more questions after this video, go ahead and send me a message through Canvas, email, or Remind. So we have our Canvas website, and then we have the old grading system. I don't want to say old, but last year's grading system, a website called Infinite Campus. Infinite Campus is updated a day or so after I do work in Canvas, which is what I'm displaying on my screen right now for you. So please check Canvas first, okay? All right, so how do we check our grades? This video is really focused on that. How can we look at what we have done, what your student has done, and what they still need to do on Canvas? All right, so again, if you were able to watch my previous video, then you already know, or if you just have experience with Canvas and you've grown to know it over the past few months, once your student logs into Canvas, on the left-hand side, you see this dark blue ribbon that is vertical, runs up and down, and you have the dashboard button, which is towards the top of that dark blue ribbon. If you click on that dashboard button, you will see little squares that represent each of the classes that your student is enrolled in. Go ahead and click on any of those classes, and you should be able to check their grades the same way. Some classes may be a bit different, but I know for English and for history, this video will walk you through some steps that will always work for those two classes. So go ahead and click on your English page, that square that says English, and this is your home screen. So again, your home screen for English and for history will always tell you where you are, and will have my name and my email. So in case you need to contact me and you forgot my email, you can always have your student log into Canvas. It is right there. Okay, so how do we check our grades? Assignments that have already been turned in and graded, or have they been turned in, there's one place on Canvas that will be very helpful for you. So on the left-hand side, which I guess would be over here, I think my image is flipped. On the left-hand side of your webpage, of this home page for our English digital classroom, we have these blue titles on the left: home, announcements, syllabus, grades, modules, Zoom, and pages. Go ahead and click on grades. Now, I am a test student right now, so this is not an actual student. This is work that I pretended to be a student and either turned in or did not turn in. So we have a few examples of what your student might see. Excuse me. So we have a few examples here. First, we have our literature quiz from The Prince and the Pauper. That happened around March 16th. Some of my classes took it on slightly different days, but it did happen right around that time. And you'll notice that under status, so first, let's describe what's going on here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. And remember, columns run up and down. So this is the name of the assignments that you're looking at. Date, when was it due? All right, not when was it assigned, when was it supposed to be turned in by? Status is if you see nothing, then it was turned in, or the due date has not passed yet. There is no marking that says turned in, done. So if your student has not turned something in, unfortunately, there is nothing under the status column until the due date passes. When the due date passes, and if the student did not turn in an assignment, that specific assignment, then let's go ahead and jump down to the next status that we see. You're going to see this red circle that says missing. This means there was no assignment that was turned in by the specific student that we are looking at. I am a test student in this example, and I did not turn in my Wednesday Ed Puzzle lesson from March 16th before the due date. So this is missing for me. My score is 0. This is one of the assignments that I have already, as a teacher, published these grades. I graded that assignment, published that, and now you are able to see the score that you or your student received, not you, that your student received, or if you're a student, the grade that you received on this assignment. And out of is our last column here, and this is telling us out of how many points. All right, so our next category, status, that is different from blank or missing is late. If you see LATE, that means that your student turned in that assignment sometime after the due date. I don't think it tells you when it was turned in, not on this screen, but there is a place to look to see when the assignment was turned in. Okay, so this assignment, historical text practice, packet questions, this was turned in after the due date, which was March 20th at 3 p.m. And this student received 4.76 points out of 20. Again, this is not a real student. This was me. I put these questions in. And I actually filled in some of these questions. And I have 2 examples here that I want us to check out. We have historical text practice packet questions. I'm going to click on this assignment. I know I turned it in because it is either blank or late. If the assignment says missing, there is nothing to look at. Meaning when you click on these blue titles, when you click on the title of an assignment, it will take you to a different screen. And let me show you that screen now and explain what that does. Ooh. Okay, so this is like a receipt of the assignment that was turned in. So if your student did not turn anything in, I will show you what this looks like in just a bit. But this student, me pretending to be a student, already did turn this in. So when I click on that assignment, it will go to this next screen and it will show me my work. What did I do? Now, at the very top, you have submission details. So here's the name of the assignment. Here is, again, I am a test student right now, and I turned this in on March 24th, which we know is after the due date, which was March 20th, right? So you can see exactly when an assignment was turned in and how late it was. Again, our new late policy, each day that something is late, you're losing 10% of the earned grade. So it is always good to know how late something is. Hopefully we want to turn assignments in before the due date, but just in case. Now, when you scroll down, you're going to see the rest of your answers and how these things were graded. So this student received 5 out of 21 points. And the time for the attempt, that was just the time from first opening up the assignment to then turning in the assignment. The time for the attempt does not really give me, as a teacher, that's not something that we really need to worry about unless it's not enough time. If a student spent 2 minutes on an assignment that should have taken them 20, then that can be a problem, right? So you can use that information either way you'd like. All right, so let's go ahead and scroll down. You see these blue boxes. These are each of our questions. So for question 1, the question was, based on the context, what does the word quota mean? When you see this green check mark, that means, hey, you got that right, and you got full points for that assignment, for that question. Now let's go ahead and check out, and you can always see the point value right next to the question number. Okay, let's look at question 2. This student received 3 out of 4 points. We still have a check mark, but now it's blue. Okay, this means that you received points for this answer, but it was not the full points.
Mr. Wong, please report to your classroom. Mr. Wong.
So I am at school, and we still have school things like an intercom. So sorry. Anyway. So when you were looking at your question, that's what the difference between the green check mark and the blue check mark for me in my classroom. Some teachers may grade just a bit differently, but a green check mark means you received full points, and it is completely correct. Good job. A green check mark means you are getting partial credits. And oftentimes I will leave feedback. And this is something I wanted to show you. Feedback from the grader, which is your teacher. And what did I say to myself in my imaginary assignment? I said, remember to answer all parts of the question. You did not discuss how this paragraph supports the central idea. Okay, so that is why I got 3 out of 4 points. I did not answer the second part of this question. Okay, so again, oftentimes I will leave feedback. There are reasons why students do not receive full scores, and oftentimes there are remarks. Now, if there is not a remark and you are curious or have questions, your student or you can always message me, and I am more than happy to have those conversations to discuss how a student can perform better in the future. And then let's go ahead and check out question number 3 and 4. This is a third marking and color that you will see on some assignments after it's been graded, and you can see how you have been graded. Question number 3 was a multiple choice question. It was not a typing question, right? Not a short answer response. And I did not get this correct. So it is going to say, hey, this is not the right answer. And then it tells us the right answer is actually this answer. So students can double check their work and see where they perhaps were confused. So they can fix whatever ideas that they may not have had in the right place when they were going through the assignment the first time. Now we have another question number 4 is out of 3 points. This student received 0. If you see an X and a red box, this means that the student received no points, and this is completely off the charts, not registering as talking about the question. So your student did not answer this question correctly or work with that, right? So let's go ahead and again, here's another example. I think this was just me playing around. A blue check mark means you got partial credit. This person received 1 out of 5 points, and that was me. And this was when we were going through our assignment, and I was showing students, this is where you type your response. Okay, so again, this is a receipt of the assignment. So I have many students and sometimes parents who are a bit confused and say, I tried to open up the assignment and it is locked. Now, I know during first semester, I was locking some assignments. The way Canvas should have worked, that was something that I thought would be beneficial to help students stay focused on what they needed to work on next instead of being too focused on the past. We have since stopped that, and we all rejoiced, and we have a pretty smooth system. Now, the only assignments I ever lock are the quizzes that we take in our English class. I make passwords, and the only time a student can access those quizzes are when they are in class with me or in a homework help situation with me. So I can proctor their test and make sure that they are not using any outside resources as best I can, right, through a computer. So the only things that are locked are those quizzes. So let's go ahead and return back to our grades for this test student. And I'm going to show you if you tried to open up an assignment and it was not turned in by your student, what would that look like? So let's go ahead and look at grammar lesson 22, review questions. Again, this says missing. So we know the student did not turn this assignment in before the due date. So let's go ahead and click on that assignment. And again, we're in the grades tab. What happens? We see that Canvas is going through a bit of an error message right now, and it says, hey, there is no preview. There is no receipt. Nothing was given and turned in, so I cannot show you what was turned in. Okay, so let's say that your student still needs to turn in grammar lesson 22. How are they going to turn in that assignment? When you are looking at your grades, to see how you did, you click on grades. When you are trying to work on an assignment, you are going to click on modules. And again, that is one of our words up here on the left-hand side of the screen, these little blue words. Your student goes to modules daily. So if you're having trouble, ask your student and they can show you exactly where to go. So go ahead and click on modules. And this just is, I don't know why they use the word modules. Every week is organized as a module. So we have a new grouping for each week. So here we are in week 12. This is March 22nd to 26th. And if we scroll down, we go back into the past. So we have week 11, March 15th to 19th. And we have week 10. Now you notice that week 11 looks a bit different than week 10. If you have not noticed this yet, if you click on that little arrow that is next to the module title, it will open up. Now, let's say you have all of your weeks open and it can be a little hard to find which week you're trying to look for. If you click on collapse all in the top right-hand corner, all of those modules collapse, and it is easier to see those titles for which week you need to go to. All right, so we know that grammar lesson 22 For any students watching, talking about linking verbs, right? So we know that happened last week, which is week 11. So we're going to go ahead and open up week 11 by clicking on that little arrow there. And under Thursday, we see grammar lesson 22 review questions. Now remember, we were in grades and we clicked on the title of this assignment and it said no preview available. Again, nothing was turned in from this student, so there was nothing to show, nothing to preview. But if we click on the assignment here from modules, the assignment opens up and it tells us, hey, this was due 4 days ago, dude. Let's go ahead and get started. So, which is nice. Canvas gives us a lot of really wonderful reminders, just in case we're confused. Go ahead and click begin, and then the assignment will open up for you. And here your student can work on their assignment. And when they are done with their assignment, there are 2 places to click that submit button. I still have some students that are not submitting their assignments and then they are not receiving scores. You have to turn it in or else I cannot grade it. So go ahead and click that submit button in the top right-hand corner. Another really cool thing about most of the assignments I create is you are actually able to work on the assignment and then save your work and come back to it later. I want students to be able to manage their time and really break up their days so that they don't have to sit down and do a ton of questions all in one sitting. If they don't have to, I like to avoid that. So if you click this return button, let's go ahead and type an answer. We will just say, hello, this is my answer, even though your student would really type their answer there. And then let's go ahead and click this return button in the top right-hand corner for this assignment. Okay, it takes us back to modules, to the modules page inside of our English Canvas digital classroom. Let's go ahead and click on that assignment again, grammar lesson 22. Now we already opened it, so now the button says resume, continue, right? So let's go ahead and click that resume button. And here is my work. So it does save your work, but you have to click that return button or else it will not. Okay, so you can submit either here in the top right-hand corner or when you get down to the bottom of the assignment in the bottom right-hand corner. All right, now once you click submit, it does, like I said, it gives you, Canvas gives you many wonderful reminders. It says, hey, did you know that you have not answered a lot of those questions or you have some answers that are invalid? When you submit this, you will not be able to change your answers. Are you ready to submit it? So I am going to pretend that I'm ready and I, as the test student, am going to submit. And here this says, hey, you got 0%, 0 points, and it took me 2 minutes. So from opening the assignment to turning it in, 2 minutes. For 30 questions, for 34 points, that is a red flag for us, right? That's when we say to our students, are you taking your time? Right? So we can use that information to help us guide our students to be more successful. If it's too long, don't worry. I really don't think there's such thing as too long as they turn their work in on time. All right, now, as I've said before, Canvas tries to help me, even though I don't ask it to, and it tries to give grades. And Canvas says, well, all the things that I could grade automatically, and some of these questions will grade automatically for me. There are a few questions that are short answer, right, where you are typing the answer in. That is something that I have to grade by hand. And I always go in and check all of these anyway. Canvas will say you got 0 points, 0%. This first initial grade that you see is not the real grade unless all of the questions really are blank. Then, of course, the answer would be that the student is receiving 0 points for the work because there is no work. So please be patient and let me go through and grade things. As soon as I grade things, they are published. So let me go ahead and return. Let's go back to grades. And again, grades are in the top left-hand corner. Again, modules is where we go to work on the assignments. Grades is where we go to see the receipts or see what we already turned in. So if you see a no preview available, again, that is because your student is missing that assignment. All right, so you'll see that's one more thing I wanted to point out about publishing scores. This column that says scores, you are seeing that some of these say 0 and some of these have like a little cartoon eye with a slash through it. This means that the instructor is working on grades. We also see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these assignments have not been turned. The due date hasn't arrived yet. Okay. So right now I am still working on grading 2 or 3 assignments in English and 2 or 3 in history, catching up on that. So if you do have questions, if there is perhaps you feel a mistake, please, please, please contact me, let me know. Canvas sometimes will tell me, the teacher, that an assignment is not turned in. But when you go to grades as a student and you see that your assignment is turned in and you see there's a difference there where I say, no, it's not turned in. And in Canvas, it says, no, you did, you turned it in. You need to tell me because Canvas is not giving me the best information. This happens every once in a while, all right? But please do check your grades to make sure you do not see any errors. I am more than happy to fix errors, okay? Again, I want my students to have fair treatment and I want to make sure that if there is a technical issue that is out of my control and out of their control, it is not fair for them to be penalized for it. All right, so that is how we can check grades. Go to the grades. Again, these blue different titles in the top left-hand corner, those are your best friends. This is where you go to different places inside of your English class. You might see different blue words depending on which class you go into, right? Every classroom is organized a bit differently. So to check your grades, after you turn in an assignment, go to grades, look at these columns, click on the actual title of the assignment to go into the details and to see those individual responses and comments that I leave. There's one more way I can leave comments. If you look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns over to the far right. If you scroll all the way down, you'll see some of these have check marks and some of them don't. And you're going to see this little chat box here. See these little speech bubbles, I should say, like cartoons, speech bubbles. Go ahead and click on that speech bubble. And this is actually a comment I left on the entire assignment. So the other comment that we saw earlier in this video was me leaving a comment for a specific question inside of the assignment. This type of comment that we are looking at here on this screen, this is a comment that I left for the entire assignment. So there are 2 different types of comments that as a teacher, I am able to leave, okay? And that is 2 of the ways that you can check those comments. And again, go to grades, and as a parent, this is an easy way to see if your assignments were turned in, if your students' assignments were turned in late or are missing, if they did not turn in those assignments at all. Okay. All right. I hope this helps. If you have any other questions or anything else I can help with, please let me know. As I mentioned in most parent-teacher conferences, there is another category that I added called currently being graded. So while assignments are being graded, again, many assignments on Canvas automatically say 0%. And zeros are not very friendly for grading, calculating grades. They make our grades yo-yo. And so I found a solution, and that is to create a category that says currently being graded, and assignments go there and while they are waiting to be graded. And once they are graded, they are moved into the homework category or the quiz category. So this way, hopefully our students' grades, we won't have heart attacks and we won't be yo-yoing as much. Everything will be pretty stable and they'll just adjust a little based on how your student performs on whatever assignment is dropped into the class homework category or the tests and quizzes category. All right, I hope that helps. If you need anything else or have any other questions, please feel free to message me either on Canvas, through Remind, or through email. All right. Have a good day.